Tonight on That's Dark. Anne of Cleves. Is this an episode of Catfish? Or are we just catching a queen? Follow us as we go along Anne of Cleves' journey.
Hello, everybody. It's
Hello,
Alyssa
and Heather.
Yay! And we are finally going to not complete, but almost complete. This is the fourth.
Yeah, we still have
King
two
Henry's
more after
wives.
this.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I was thinking why do I always get these
6
wrong?
wives. That man couldn't make up his mind.
No, he couldn't.
Couldn't keep a wife.
No, he absolutely.
Do you know
could
that
not.
like Peter Pumpkin Eater
Yes.
had a wife and couldn't keep her? It should have been Henry, Fat Man Henry. No, I was kidding. He's just kind of a jerk. So when I like read about him, I'm like, you weren't that attractive, King Henry. Get a life.
But that's the sad thing is like it doesn't for men.
No.
You don't really have to be that attractive. You really just don't.
If you got power,
Exactly, and that's all they wanted.
that's all they wanted.
Well, I have a lot of chit chats that I want to hit on.
Chit-chat.
I know I left everybody hanging about the bat situation on the last episode.
Oh my God, yes.
Okay, it took a turn because it was a very long article that I read. So, here's how it started. So there's a hospital in Rockledge. I believe it is called Rockledge Hospital.
I thought you were going to say it's called hospital.
Hospital. I mean, kind of. It's just Rockledge Hospital. And it's one of Steward. I'm sure you've heard of Steward Medical Center. It's one of their
No way.
branches. Yes.
Okay.
Well, I guess this happened. I believe this was last year that this started. And I guess on their 5th and 6th, and I think the 7th floor of the hospital, the 5th floor is the ICU unit. The 6th and 7th are storage. They just use that for storage.
Okay.
So it wasn't a huge deal for them to be there, but there were bats. And it started, and I guess a patient would say, and they kind of just saw this patient as like kind of crazy. And he said he was being attacked by a grasshopper every night. It was just like, no. Turns out it was bats. Every night he was being attacked by bats.
It's not funny.
By bats.
Why were they attacking
In the ICU.
him? Why were they attacking him?
Because they found their way in, and I found something out about bats. There is a bat expert that was talking, and she said all you need is if you can fit your finger in something, a bat can come in.
Whoop.
Yeah, didn't know that.
But why were they attacking him? Were they just maybe
I think they
swooping
were probably
on him?
yeah, they were probably
and that's what he meant
flying
by
around.
attacking? Because
Yeah.
I just don't see a bat like being like, ha ha.
Well, here's where it gets even
Oh,
crazier.
no.
So apparently, because you know how there's some animals that are, you can't touch them, you can't do anything with them because they're a protected
Correct.
species.
Yep.
Bats are one of them.
Oh, snap.
They got the proper licensing, I guess, to be able to
Get rid of them?
migrate them from the hospital, but they had to do it within a certain time frame of the year. But here's where the article made a turn. So I guess this is something that happened a while ago, and now this article that I read was more recent. They had the bats relocated.
Oh.
And it cost like $900-something thousand for them
Holy-
to be able to do this. The hospital didn't pay them. They are not paying anyone. Vendors all over the globe are pissed at them at this specific hospital because they don't pay them. The nurses got paid from a random hospital in Utah before.
Sorry, what?
Yeah. So to be continued with this story.
To be continued.
It's vendors like the Pepsi machine. They had things that got repossessed, and the Pepsi machine was one of them because they don't pay their vendors.
You know what's really freaky about that is that my doctor is Stuart. Surgery.
Well, I've always heard good things about Steward when I do my donations.
Yeah.
I always use Steward as like
Maybe
my
it's just
local
the
clinic.
hospital.
It's probably Rockledge. I mean,
Come on, Rockledge.
I'm not gonna say much about
They
Rockledge.
could have just shooed the bats to the zoo.
But the way that they just underplayed, they're like, well, they're mainly in the storage area, so it's not that big a deal. No. This is a very big deal.
They got it quoted for the removal. They're like,
It's not that
They're
big.
just in the storage unit.
Also, when they were turning on water faucets, black stuff was coming out, and it is poop. Poop. That poop.
God damn it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Damn it.
Yep.
That's disgusting.
So,
That's
thank
disgusting.
you. Yeah. Thank you, Kylie, for sending me that article. Please send more.
Thank you, Kylie. That's
Okay.
what nightmares are made of.
My next topic. Sorry, I'm going to go through these kind of quickly. Woodpeckers.
Woodpeckers.
So, okay, another one Kylie informed me on. And I am telling all of you right now, look up, just go to Google and type in woodpecker skull and just watch as I am explaining this. Woodpeckers have evolved over the years because, you know, they're pecking on things.
Yeah. Yep.
To protect their brain, their tongue wraps around their skull and it acts as a cushion.
I actually know that one.
That is so cool.
Yep. I actually
That is
know
so
about
freaking
that.
cool.
Yep.
And I'm just like, wow, that's pretty amazing.
But also so crazy to think that their tongue is literally like...
It's around their whole,
Yep.
it's crazy
Yep.
looking. I'm like,
Yeah.
holy shit.
That one is really cool,
It's
though.
so cool. And like, it's so cool how bodies can just evolve over time to like adapt to your environments and what you're doing. But
No way. Mm-mm. I was kidding. I'm just being like the people that, you know, are Christian. No,
no, they don't.
no.
Never do.
Evolution, wrong.
Doesn't happen.
Wrong.
Not a thing.
But I will say, woodpeckers are super cute.
Mm-hmm.
But I used to have one outside my bedroom door. Not door, what the hell? Like I have a woodpecker
I know
in
what
my
you mean.
hallway.
Like outside.
Knock, knock, knock. Outside on a tree, and I'd have, and we would have our windows open at night in the summer. Because my dad wouldn't put the air on, which was awful.
Oh.
And it would just be like, duck, 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 duck. And then it would stop because it was nighttime. I was like, okay, wait a minute. In the morning, first thing in the morning, it's like, duck, 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 duck. It like never stopped drilling for food. I was
Yeah.
like, oh my God, why you gotta drill so long? Like, it was so long.
They're so loud.
They are so loud.
I have one who comes and goes. Once I forget about him, he comes back and he pecks on our soffits of the house.
Oh.
So it's loud.
Yeah, that's
And I'm
loud.
like, what the fuck are you doing?
No, that's bad.
Ah, okay. Next topic. All right, I don't know. I'm sure you have heard of the Madeline Soto case. Okay. Well, we're going to cover this.
Well, if you tell me, maybe I have. Sometimes names don't do it for
It
me.
happened in Kissimmee, and her body was recently found. I believe tree trimmers found her body.
I think I've heard something about this, but I don't know.
She was 13. She just turned 13. And I'll just do a brief story because I'm not trying to cover the whole thing. We'll do a whole other video on that. But in short, another boyfriend of the mother was essaying.
Killing me.
Are you killing me?
Mess today.
Well, he was essaying the daughter. And they have it now where he just recently got 60 extra charges brought to him. They can't bring him to the murder of her, but they are like
Double
so
jeopardy.
sure. Mhm. They're so sure because they have proof on his phone of him essaying her. I guess he had pictures of it since she was 11, but it more than likely has been happening soon, like before that too. So
Piece of shit.
in short, he was essaying her for a while. Something that happened on her birthday led to him murdering her, allegedly. We can't confirm it just yet because it's still under investigation.
Probably stood up for herself, or
Yes.
he went too far.
Well, and that's exactly what people are saying is she probably said, I'm telling someone,
Yep.
and then he killed her. But
stupid.
anyway, apparently he worked at Epcot. And because this is in Kissimmee that this happened. So I found this very interesting because I heard it all over the place. I'm like,
Has he been in jail?
no, nope.
Has he recently worked at Epcot?
Yes. He had no charges.
Do you have a picture of this guy?
Yes.
Can I see him?
I'm gonna
When
read
you're
you
done.
because I was just like, I was like, wow, that's kind of crazy because I've heard like, oh, he worked at Disney, and I was like, oh, I wonder where, because I knew it was at Epcot. I'm like, where did he work at Epcot? Because I'm there all the time. And then I see this. So it says, after Stephen Stern arrest on Wednesday, local news began searching for information on social media. On his Facebook account, Stearns claimed that he was a cast member at a nearby Walt Disney World. However, Disney World has since denied that Stearns was a current cast member. A representative for Disney World did not respond when asked if he'd ever worked at Disney World. However, the internet has done some detective work on its own, as it's very, very good at. And it appears that Stephen Stearns was previously a cast member at Disney World, or at least claimed to be on the internet. Several investigative sources on YouTube and X found that Stearns had been writing on Reddit under the username Sustanet, and most of his posts involved giving advice on Walt Disney World and explaining how difficult being a cast member can be. However, as the investigation continues, new evidence has come forward that shows that Stephen Stearns worked at Disney World as soon as last September. The photo in X shows him working at the entrance to Journey into Imagination with Figment at Epcot. And here's the picture of him there, and then that's what he looks like. Okay. And you guys can Google him and look him up. That's not
the one. So, weird story, and why I asked is because when we were coming home from Disney, when, the last time we went, we stopped to get gas at a gas station, and there was a cast member there, and it was a man. And I'm telling you, I had chills go down my spine, and I don't know why. He gave me but it wasn't him. But it was he gave me the worst.
He's not the only one who's come out.
The worst vibes. Yeah. I was I didn't want to look at him. I wanted to get out of there. Yeah. It was weird because he was all dressed in his stuff for Disney. And that's why I was
yeah, it's scary. What if that
was him?
It's scary. But there's a lot of people who worked at Disney who are.
This looks like Mike's husband.
Oh, he looks like someone else too.
Yeah.
But, there's a lot of people, and honestly, there's a lot of people that are, on Disney's ass, why do you keep hiring these people? He had no record.
Yeah.
A lot of them have no record, and unfortunately, a lot of the worst ones have no record.
That's true, though.
So, but, and people keep, I don't think there's some conspiracy where they're purposely hiring.
No. God,
I don't think they're purposely hiring, child molesters. At least I don't want to think that.
No.
But I just think that it's there's a lot of nasty people, and where are nasty people going to want to work? Around where kids are.
That's exactly right. And if they have no record, how are they supposed to, not everybody has the inherent, tingle, red flag, whoa.
And even if you do, you can't just fire someone because you have a weird feeling.
Well, also, I've been a hiring manager, and I know you can't discriminate or decide. You can try to find loopholes, okay, well, I don't think this guy's going to fix, so what can I, but sometimes, they can come off as being, the nicest people,
They most of the time are.
And they're not. They're horrible, and it just makes me so sad that she was only 13. That just on her birthday.
Turned 13.
That's just so sad.
Just turned 13.
Poor baby.
But I'll cover that case probably soon because it's currently happening. And then I'm gonna not end the podcast episode, but the topics on Love is Blind.
Love is Blind.
Guys, are we surprised at all?
No.
I'm not.
I'm not
surprised at any of it, honestly.
So, I know me and you have talked off our thing about this, but only thing I'm surprised after, because at first I felt so brokenhearted for AD.
Yeah.
I was and sorry guys, spoiler alert, I hope you're following along. If not, you're going to get some spoilers. Yeah. But I felt so brokenhearted for her. I was just but then, something just didn't sit right with me. And I was well, I don't know. He just seemed he just seemed to he almost seemed settled in his, not just his decision, but again, something that because remember how we said we would talk to the person, we would have these conversations. And then that TikTok came out and I sent it to you.
Yep.
And it's literally him going, but he's got a smile on his face. They made a previous, that's what I took from it. They had a previous discussion. They both decided they weren't going to do it. But then I think for AD, it was a lot of pride.
Right.
And she was okay, well, I said yes. Or, she played it up too. I don't know, but he seemed literally I don't want to leave.
Yeah. That's what the vibe I got. So she sent me a video, and it's a clip, and you guys can go rewatch this episode. It was the the decision making episode, where he's saying like that you guys are gonna, I don't remember the exact words at the,
it's just the vows.
It's the vow part, saying that there's gonna be the
yeah.
officiant, that's what it is, that there's gonna be a marriage, and he looks at AD and literally mouths no with a smile on his face, shaking his head. And so I think that's interesting. I like Clay. I love his mom. Oh my
love his mom.
God, I love his mom.
Not his dad.
I don't have like, Clay, it's very funny like to look back at all of his like concerns. But and then I just found another video where they were saying how, because how he's like not a property manager, but he has like rentals.
He owns rentals,
like, I think he does Airbnb or something.
Yep.
That he was like kind of on there for clout for his Airbnb rentals, which of course, I think everybody is on there for clout to a certain extent.
To a certain extent. I absolutely believe that Johnny and Amy were there to find love, and I think they did.
Yeah.
100%. Like
my thought is, I think whoever picks the cast they obviously want drama. Like, there's no show without drama.
Absolutely.
I think they know the couples like Amy and Johnny. I know they don't know that they're going to pick each other, but I think they pick people that are very serious.
Truly want the love of their life. Truly want to be married.
Yeah. Because you can't tell me, with the pictures Jeremy had, with the Trevor, you can't tell me that they didn't check them. You can't.
No.
They pick these people for drama.
They're throwing those Romans.
Right.
So I really feel like, and I feel like they mix it up.
Yes.
So I feel like there's not like this even amount of girls that want clout and boys that want clout.
Absolutely not.
I think they absolutely want to pair them up with one person who's really wanting a relationship and another person who wants clout, and then they're going through this, thing that they're going through.
I think an example of a season where they picked mainly girls that wanted clout was Micah. And what was her friend? Oh my God, the Russian girl. Oh, I can't think of her name.
So annoying.
I don't want to say Katerina. It's not Katerina. I don't remember
it.
I'm sure you guys know. But I think those ladies were an example, because the guys all kind of seemed laid back in that episode. And that was some wild stuff happening there.
But I will say, like, that season had so many more couples come out of it that are still together to the day.
I think because women are, even if they go on for clout, they're more susceptible to actually falling in love.
Absolutely. Now, I think if Clay had that mindset, he was not going to fall in love. Like, truly. Like, if Clay was like, I'm going to go on there, I'm going to show my business, that's where my head's at, he's not going to let himself, like, at all. Now, there's been some TikToks circulating that I sent you because the reunion's coming up of certain couples that are hanging out that I was like, what?
Brittany and Kenneth.
Yeah.
What the hell?
Yeah, Chelsea and...
Oh my God. Jimmy. Why did he look like a ginger in that video you sent me? Because that's why I was like,
I feel like Jimmy, he's growing a beard because everyone called him a thumb. I really do. And it makes me feel kind of sad for him. But at the same time, I always forget his name and I don't know why. I'm always like, who is it? Like,
I think he's nice.
He's nice. And he, I think that...
And again, okay, I don't want to come on and sound like I'm shaming him for the way he looks. It's not the way he looks. It's when you have a personality and then you're also... you're a little unforgettable slightly. Like, you're just normal. Like, it's like a normal thing. Like, I think I don't think he's a bad looking guy. I don't think he's a great looking guy. I just think he's a guy. And that's my opinion though. But I do think he was not like anywhere like as bad as people paint him out to be. No. I will stand by that. Yeah. And everyone can come at me. I know you won't. But I think they really tried to make him out to be like this villain, and Jimmy was not a villain. Yeah, I don't think he's a villain.
No.
I just think he's a little bit unaware of his emotions.
I think very unaware of his emotions.
Because his reactions to things from the beginning have always just been like very weird.
Yeah, like he has to take a minute to compute them.
Yeah, like, which is really fine.
But not for a show like this.
No. Well, not even that. I think it's okay. And if you know that about yourself, you can say, I just need a little bit.
Can I have a moment?
Yeah.
Of course, if he said that to Chelsea. You want a moment? You don't even love me.
But I think Jess would be the same way. I just think she would be more like, no.
Yeah, Jess would be like, no moment. Tell me now.
Yes.
So he's going to need a girl that's going to match that.
Yeah.
But I hope that they're friends and that's why they're having dinner together. Yeah. I don't think they should be together. I do not think they match well at all. Not at all.
No.
But the thing I am most excited about with the reunion is that they're bringing back all the pregnant people. So
are they?
Yes, they're bringing back Bliss and Zach.
Oh my God.
Yep.
Oh, they're my favorite.
Yep. They're bringing back, what is that one? Alexis and her dude.
Yeah.
I can't remember his name.
Brennan?
I think it is Brennan. Yeah. Alexis and Brennan because they're pregnant.
Yep.
And they're bringing back, of course, Chelsea and the other Chelsea.
Kwame,
yes.
Oh my God.
But it's just so cute because they had pictures of Alexis and Brennan and they're like in the pods and they haven't been in the pods since they left the pods. Like they haven't been back in there and she's all pregnant and they're taking pictures in there and I just thought it was really cute.
Oh my God.
And then Zach and Bliss are coming back and I just think it's so cute. I'm like so happy.
I think, what is Nick Lachey's wife's name? Oh my God, why can't
Oh
I
wait,
think
there's
of
the
her
other
name?
one too coming back. She's the one that was in the very beginning.
Oh,
she's
I won't
actually
remember.
hosting it. Yeah. I can't remember her name.
Wait,
right
she's
now.
hosting the reunion?
She's going to be a part. Yeah, she's going to be a part of it.
Good.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
What
And there was
is-
a. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, you're good. What is Nick Lachey's wife's name? Vanessa. She will be very happy about the pregnancy.
Very happy.
She was very concerned
This
about
girl's
the pregnancies.
pregnant too. The one I can't remember, and I follow her on Instagram. She was with the guy that had red hair. I don't remember.
I don't remember the first
No.
couple episodes, to be honest. Or not
No, I think
episodes,
she was like
seasons.
in one of the first seasons.
Oh, yeah,
if I
I
remember
won't
correctly. But she's not with him. She
Oh,
has a
she's someone
whole other
else.
guy. She's so happy. They're having a baby. But I do know there's a clip where they show her and she's saying, "Have you not heard of a condom?" I can't wait because you know that's to
It's-
Amy and Johnny.
Oh my God. Yeah, that was a very interesting situation they had happening.
They
And I'm
gotta
sure,
work through it.
I'm sure they figured
I'm
it out.
sure they did.
I hope at least, because it's by now has been like a year, I think.
Yeah.
Right? Since
It's
they've
been a
all
year.
together.
I think she just really didn't want to have those hormones in her body, and I get that.
I don't blame her at all.
I get that. And he was literally exploring
Yes.
getting a vasectomy. Like he was.
Well,
so
I just
he
think
was like, well, I can probably, but that's really hard for reversal, you know?
I think it's really great to see a guy especially who's so concerned about that stuff because it's so normally the opposite. It's normally the guy just doesn't care.
Yeah.
But it's nice to see a guy that's like, oh, well, I'm not really ready for that just yet. So we need to be sure that we like don't have that happen yet.
Yeah, I think that's what he's saying. He's like,
Yeah.
I don't want it to. He
Yeah.
had kind of like a more of a poor growing
yes.
up. And so he's like, I really don't want to give that to my
I
child.
so get that.
I love that.
So get it. And so, yeah, I understand that. And then she's more of the mindset of, well, I want a kid, so if it happens, it happens, blah, blah, blah.
Yep.
Which, you know, I get both sides,
Yep.
but it's just a funny situation.
Well, that's just kind of like, and I get what she's saying. Again, like
Yeah.
it's very hard. Like, I'm sorry, hormones are very
It's
hard.
a lot on your body.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
The list of symptoms is wild.
Yeah.
If you take out your birth control back.
I could never take them. But shall we get into this?
Yes.
With Anne of Cleves. Well, everybody, not anybody. Well, anybody. No, everybody. Tomorrow night is the reunion.
Yes.
I heard there is so much tea, and I am so excited
If they
for
don't
it.
have Matthew on,
I'm
I'm
going to
gonna
be
be upset.
so upset. I don't think they're going to though. Because
don't
think
either,
he's
'cause there's
going
a
through this
lawsuit.
Yep, that's right. So now we are going to continue on from our previous podcast, Witching Hour.
Yep.
I talked about 3 of King Henry VIII's wives, which, you know, all of them, and I can go through it again. The first one was divorced. Second one was beheaded. Third one died. And now we're on to the 4th one.
Yep.
And it's divorced.
Yes. Okay. So
So.
this won't be a tragic ending.
Well, no.
Well, at least in
everything's
the,
kind
in
of
the sense
tragic
of
back
death, it won't be.
Yeah. So, but the interesting thing about this, and I'm going to read through it, and you guys are going to be like, oh, wait, the fact that she was called one of the first catfish in history. So, because the rumor is she sent her painting in, the Holbein,
Yes.
the king's favorite painter, painted
Right.
her portrait. And the rumor is she did not look like her portrait, and it made the king very upset. So, we are talking about Anne of Cleves today. And let me just show you her picture of which, not Holbein, because I really hate Holbein's art. I'm just going to put that out
Yeah.
there. But this is one that was created for her when she was very young.
She's so pretty.
Yeah. And she had red hair, which it doesn't show here. And she was German. So she was in Cleves. So Cleves at that time, before it became Germany, was a country in and on its own.
Okay.
But it was in that territory. And she did not speak any English. I want to put that out there because that's very important to be aware of. So Anne of Cleves was born in Dusseldorf in 1515. Anne of Cleves was the daughter of Maria of Jülichburg and John III, Duke of Cleves. Her birth date is thought to be 22nd of December 1515. So what is she?
Capricorn.
There you go. Although some historians have suggested a date they say could be June or July, but for the most part, they do believe she was born in September. But
September?
September.
Oh, then that's not Capricorn. That's, I thought you said December. Hold on.
No.
Wait, what is that? Now I have to check. Damn it. All right, September 22nd, you said?
Yes.
That is...
And why I'm telling you these dates, because I want you to listen to her and then
Virgo.
I want you to listen to her and then also understand that they brought in June and July as well. So you listen and you decide.
Okay.
Because I love how you always read people's charts.
Okay.
What you think she was born in.
All right. So we have Virgo as a possibility, Gemini as a possibility, and Cancer as a possibility.
Yes.
Oh boy.
Yes. Okay. But they do know it was on the 22nd.
Okay.
But and most accounts say September, but there is some June and July's in there. But it's better than what most of the queens have had. Most of them have been, they have no idea when they were born.
22nd of July might be... Sorry.
No, you're
I
good.
gotta make sure.
That's why I brought it up, because I was like, ooh, I want to see if she can think, we can pinpoint.
Cancer. Okay. All right.
So we got a Virgo. We have a Cancer and we have a...
Possible Gemini?
Gemini.
Let me double check on that. So you said June, right? June is another possibility?
Yep, June 22nd.
Cancer. Okay, so it's either Cancer or Virgo.
Cancer or Virgo. That's what we got here, okay? Yes. Anne had 3 siblings, a brother, Wilhelm, and 2 sisters, Sibylla and Amelia. Anne grew up in Cleves. And again, this is a small country, essentially, in what we would call modern-day Germany.
Okay.
Inside the Holy Roman Empire. Despite its small size, Cleves was a prestigious and respected player in European politics. So they were very respected. Okay. They were not just this little country over here that no one cared about. So it kind of gives you a setup as to why maybe Henry was even looking at Cleves, why that was even happening. Anne's mother taught her to know her worth.
Good.
That's one thing Anne's mother did. She was close to her mother, so close, who oversaw her education by preparing her to succeed as a German noblewoman. This was a very different upbringing to most women in the Tudor court. So Anne learned to read and write in German, as well as the household stuff. So she learned all the management skills, cooking, needlework. However, unlike English ladies, Anne did learn to dance and play music. So she was a very good dancer, and she loved dancing. Okay. She loved to hit that dance floor. That was her favorite. And she could play. And the lute, other things, harp. I know they mentioned a couple different instruments. Also, unlike English ladies, she did learn to hunt and was rather good with a gun. So, and she would go out and hunt with her father and his friends often. And she loved hunting. And this is the same for her sisters. So I want to go back to her sisters. Her first sister was considered what they would call the beauty of the family. Okay. They all had this really pretty red hair. I have some other pictures I can give you that you can put up, just to kind of, to showcase or whatever if you want to do that. Her younger sister looked so much like her. They were all brought up this way. But the problem was the first sister was she was to be the one that establishes that really good alliance, right? Okay. And so we'll get into her younger sister here in a minute, but just kind of know that they were all considered to be beauties in their country, Cleves. They were all prestigious, but they had these other things that English ladies never would have done. Hunting and writing and reading. And then on top of that, she danced. Right. All the time. When I read, she was all about the parties.
That is awesome.
She was bring it on. Yep. I want to go dance. So after Jane Seymour So let's talk about how Anne of Cleves ended up as Queen of England. So after Jane Seymour died, even though she had a son for Henry, he was so concerned that his throne could be taken from him, and he knew he had to make more sons. So one son was not enough. He needed that succession to be strong and that throne to be secured, because he was so afraid. And that's pretty much every political, like you talk about Queen Elizabeth, that was her number one fear. She was not going to have a child, though, because she wasn't giving her throne up. Right. She was like, no. But King Henry was like, I got to have more sons. This is not enough. One son, because the son's a little baby at this point. You know, he's like, this is not enough. Now, interesting thing is, we all know with Jane Seymour, King Henry's son outlived him. Right. But then died. Yep. So King Henry thought when he was dying that he had that succession. Right. Nope. He did not. No, he did not. So England was politically and religiously isolated right now because of all of King Henry's decisions. Yes. In 1531, the king had broken ties with the Roman Catholic Church, as we all know, because of Anne of Boleyn. Anne Boleyn. Yep. Anne declared himself the supreme head of the Church of England, so he could annul his marriage to his first queen, Catherine. The religious split left England vulnerable against the new alliance between Catholics, France, and Spain. So there is that vulnerability there. Yep. His position by allying with other countries who has also challenged the Pope's authority, because Cleves absolutely challenged it, he wanted to have that strong alliance. So he put a great task on Thomas Cromwell, which was like one of his like main advisors, to basically be a royal matchmaker. So Thomas Cromwell went around all these countries looking for a proper strong alliance. So King Henry doesn't get to choose a lady in waiting again. There's nothing, he didn't have anything in his court right now that was going to give him that strong alliance. So Cromwell went all out looking for a proper woman to make King Henry's wife. Okay? So finally, Cromwell ends up in the Cleves household. He is delighted with these girls. And he's looking at Amelia, and he's looking at Anne. The oldest is already married. She went off. She's got her strong alliance. It's all good. But he's looking at them, and he thinks they're great. He's like, all right, awesome. So Cleves, like England, was a Catholic state open to religious reform. So they once were Catholic, now they're going to reform. And then Anne's brother-in-law even led a League of United German Protestant States that challenged the Catholic Holy Roman Empire. In Cleves, Cromwell found a country with a similar religious and political outlook to England. Plus, he thought that the girls, I'm gonna state this because it was said, he thought they were very comely, which means attractive. Yes, back then, if they said you're comely, you're attractive.
Well, I wonder where that stemmed from. That's kind of
He thought they were very pleasing in appearance. So he was like, he went back and he was like, hey, King Henry, I found two. I got two girls for you. Two sisters. At that. So you have your pick. Okay? Anne was only 23 and already betrothed to a duke, and had been since she was 11. But her family was like, no problem. This is the King of England. Yeah, we're going to free her from that so she can marry, if he wants her, she can marry the king, or you can have her younger sister who isn't betrothed at all. So they're like, yeah, no problem. Like, we'll break that alliance. We'll break that marriage contract. So the king had never met Anne. And when choosing his future bride, Henry was not prepared to rely on his ambassador's word alone. Instead, the king sent his court painter, who else? Hans Holbein, to create Anne and Amelia's portraits. Holbein was renowned for capturing famous figures in the Tudor court, including Jane Seymour and possibly her predecessor, Anne Boleyn. Now, his artist eye was entrusted to paint Henry's next queen. So, when the paintings came back, Cleves was wearing the popular fashions of Cleves, which were these really rich, like green and gold dresses. Red and gold fabrics with an ornate headdress and fine jewels around her neck. And she wasn't like chest up. She was definitely farther back, okay? And so it was more of herself in that picture. Yeah. But they believe that all that pomp and beautifulness is what, like, even though I think she's perfectly beautiful,
Yeah.
like, they believe that the ornateness, like how her face, it kind of took away from her face. So he didn't focus on that. He was focusing on her figure. He was focusing on everything else, right?
Yep.
So he looked at both of them and he said, I want Anne.
Yep.
I pick Anne.
Oh.
Yeah. And so, Henry finally approved the match, and within a few weeks, the fateful marriage contract was signed without ever seeing each other in person.
What?
Yeah. They got married by proxy, which means the king signed a contract, sent someone there, most likely Cromwell.
Is that even like allowed
Yep.
anymore?
I think they can still marry by proxy. Yes.
What?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
And he married Anne for the king. So now Anne has to head off to England because now she's the Queen of England.
Yes.
So it was rumored that Anne was not happy about marrying Henry, being that he was 24 years her senior. But he was king and would create a strong alliance for Cleves.
Yep.
She was not happy.
I don't
They
blame
said
her.
she knew what he looked like, and she was not happy.
Oh my.
Which I think is hilarious, right? And you're gonna, yeah.
I like her already.
Yeah. Anne left Cleves in the autumn of 1539 and reached English-controlled soil on the 11th of December, 1540. She was age 24. While she waited to cross the channel, Anne asked through her interpreter to learn one of Henry's favorite card games and took dinner with her English hosts. She basically was trying to prepare for her new life, and they said she was trying to learn English because she didn't know a lick of English, and she was trying to know what the king likes because Anne's smart.
Yeah.
She's already married. There's nothing she can do, right? And so she was really trying to learn the English way so that way she could please the king. When Anne arrived in Dover on the 27th of December and was accompanied north to Rochester. She rested there a few days before her journey to London, where Anne was told she would finally meet the king. Well, when Henry heard that Anne of Cleves had arrived in Rochester, he and several gentlemen of the privy, which is his chamber, right? His men in waiting, or what you want to call them, rode to Rochester to surprise her. On New Year's Day in 1540, he dressed in disguise, wearing a marbled or colored cloak and prepared to meet his new queen. See, in England, men would do this. And they did this because they believed it was a romantic tradition, and it was started, and you're going to laugh, it was started in French culture.
Of course it was.
So basically it was they would dress in disguise and go and grab their ladies and like try to kiss them and stuff. And if they recognized them, then it was true love. If they didn't, then it was not.
I'm sorry, what?
They would dress in disguise, like bust in to the ladies' chamber or wherever it was, grab them, hold them, like start kissing them. And if the woman recognized him, then it was true love.
What the fuck?
If she did not good.
She's lucky that she didn't shoot his ass.
Get ready.
Oh boy.
Get ready. So, the king was like, okay, so this tradition was popular with Henry and his Tudor court, which means he probably did it quite a bit.
Of course.
So he believed that Anne would definitely recognize him, which, I mean, maybe she would have if he was not in disguise. But he believed that. He was like, oh, she'll definitely recognize me. I'm the King of England. She's definitely going to know it's me. And then he decided in his romantic head, because I do think he was a love addict.
Yes.
Love at first sight. Oh. He thought he was going to meet her, and it was going to be like love at first sight. When he did this, he's going to be so romantic, and then I'm going to take her to bed that night. Like, you know how, I'm just playing off here, but his head was going there. Yep. He was like, absolutely. I'll be able to have a taste of that. Mm-hmm. Like, she's my queen. Like, yeah, you know? This meeting did not go as planned. Mm-hmm. When Henry burst into her room, it was told that Anne first ignored him. Turned away, like, to the wall. And when he went to grab her and kiss her, she shoved him away. She was like, who the hell is this dude? And she shoved him away from her. I think she knew who it was.
Probably.
I do. He took great offense. After their first meeting, Henry was disappointed and told Cromwell he did not want to marry Anne.
Well, too late.
I know, it's already done. He hoped that her previous engagement to the Duke of Lorraine might prevent the match. So now he's doing some work. He's like, she was rude to me. She didn't like me. It's funny. I at first when you said it could be a Gemini, it just made me laugh because I could see you just turn to a wall.
I was going to say, this is something I would do.
Yeah, like just turn away to the wall. And then finally you're like, get away from me, you know?
At this point, I am getting Cancer vibes.
Yeah. Yeah. But Anne's advisor, the Duke Lorraine, but Anne's advisors insisted that she was free to marry. Mm-hmm. So that was not a way out. Anxious not to lose the important political alliance with Cleves, Henry had no choice but to go through with this marriage. Anne of Cleves was already married, but they went ahead and had the ceremony at the Greenwich Place on 6th of January, 1540. Her wedding ring was inscribed with her personal motto, God send me and keep me well. Publicly, the royal wedding was celebrated with pageantry and splendor, but behind those closed doors, the relationship was already a disaster.
Oh, yeah.
Things went from bad to worse on their wedding night. In the morning, Henry was said to have told Cromwell, I liked her before not well, but now I like her much worse.
Oh, did someone's ego get hurt?
Yeah.
So that's what it sounds like.
Exactly. And that they were unable to have sexual intercourse to legalize their union. Anne asked many times to see Cromwell because things were not going well and she was frightened, but he would not see her. Cromwell was stated as saying many times, His Majesty has declared unto him that his nature has abhorred her ever since so far that if his grace would go about to have do with her, his highness verily thinks that his nature would not consent to do so. Which basically says, if I have to deal with her, my nature is not going to deal with her. I think behind closed doors, Anne was like, you're not touching me.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Like, I believe this girl's got some spit and fire, even though she's not stupid like Anne of, Boleyn, who's outwardly. She's just like, she maybe played her because she couldn't speak English.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Like, don't know what you're, kind of thing. So I think she rejected him. And the fact that he tried to grab her and kiss her when they met.
Yep.
And then he goes around saying he tries to go around saying she doesn't look anything like her picture.
Yes. Here's my theory, and it's probably exactly what it is. I think he's using that as a reason. I think his ego's hurt. He didn't get to do what he wanted with her. And as we know, with love addicts, if they are not reciprocated well,
it's bad.
It's goodbye.
Yep.
Goodbye.
See you later.
Can't have you around. And that's my theory.
Yep. So, Henry and Cromwell also used cruel and graphic descriptions of Anne's body to explain why their marriage was unconsummated. I'm going to show you a picture of how tiny this woman was. So the only thing that I could think they would say is that she wasn't curvy. That's like it, because she was not.
Yeah.
It would definitely there's no way. Like, these descriptions predictably directed the blame firmly away from the king.
Of course.
After all, questioning Henry's ability to consummate the marriage would have insulted his pride and masculinity. He couldn't be insulted. No. While some eyewitness accounts mocked Anne's foreign clothes and manners, infamous nicknames such as the Flanders Mare was first recorded much later. So that was more in the 17th century. So they don't know. So it was recorded that they would call her the Flanders Mare, but like that was like way later on. So there's a lot of things with Anne of Cleves that was like thrown in there later on. And I hate that. So when I do my research, I like go as deep as I possibly can to get some accurate information. Thomas Cromwell wanted to break off the match as quickly as possible. In July 1540, he, Henry, and other witnesses testified to an assembly of archbishops that the marriage was non-consensual, at least on Henry's side.
What?
And unconsummated. Anne was not invited to testify.
Of course.
Yeah. And also, really, the king, it's unconsensual. Like,
exactly.
Also, I think Cromwell started like getting all frantic because I bet the king was going to kill him.
Oh, for sure.
Absolutely. Anne of Cleves and Henry VIII's marriage was formally annulled on the 9th of July, 1540. Unlike divorce, which was rare in Tudor England, an annulment declared that the marriage had never been valid or binding. Anne was formally told of the annulment 3 days before its approval.
Wow.
Henry's officials reported she heard the news calmly and without any alteration of countenance. So she did not have any reaction.
She's probably like, thank God.
Yet she was concerned privately because she needed to know what to do. Like, she's in England.
Yeah.
She didn't want to go back because that would be a fail to her family. Oh. So privately, she's trying to figure out. But when they told her, for the people, she had no
reaction.
And I feel like that was absolutely a Henry.
Yes.
Like, no. So she was very concerned about both her position and her life, because of the fact that he wants to remove her. She knew what had to happen. She knew what happened to his previous queens.
Yeah.
The discarded Catherine of Aragon, the executed Anne of Boleyn. So she, other eyewitnesses comforted Anne, recognizing the fact that she took the matter heavily, but reassured her that the king meant her no harm. Once the news sunk in, Anne stayed calm. So, keeping whatever private thoughts and feelings to herself, she wisely accepted the annulment without a single fight.
Yeah.
Which, it's interesting because I'm going to go back to the fact that they were saying that her looks were the reason for the annulment. Reading through the story, it was completely because she rejected him.
Yes.
I firmly believe
100%.
that. And I think she knew to stay quiet. I think she put on a show for her people, like, but she knew she needed to stay quiet. She needed to accept Henry's,
right,
what he wants, So, interesting thing also is that, real fast. Here are some other ideas as to why Henry wanted out. So the first one's the catfish. He didn't like how she looked. The second is the couple lacked both personal and romantic chemistry, which I believe that. I don't think Anne pretended.
No.
Like a lot of the women would pretend for him. I don't think she pretended. Anne and Henry were separated by language and culture. I do believe that completely. And also she was brought up to love music and dance, but English ladies were not supposed to dance.
Wow.
And there is actual accounts, and we're going to get into it, where when she stays at the English court, this woman went and cut a rug with the men. She was like, I'm out there.
Oh my God.
Yeah, she was not going to stay sitting on the side. She loved to dance. And then the Catholic alliance between France and Spain had faded. So he didn't really feel like, some people believe he didn't feel like he needed to be married to Anne. And then the king preferred to choose his own loves. Henry felt that Cromwell had forced Anne upon him, and his eye had already wandered to Catherine Howard. Guess who that is? Our next wife.
Oh boy.
The woman who would become his fifth queen. And that makes sense to me too, because he is a love addict.
Absolutely.
He didn't get to have this love story with Anne. This was not, and he was trying to.
Yeah.
He came in trying to be all in disguise, do that romantic thing, and it did not go well.
Oh, no.
And so I think that love was not there. And on her end either. I think she was like,
she's like, you're a little weird.
I don't know you. So grateful for Anne's cooperation, and probably to avoid conflict with her family, Henry presented his former queen with a generous settlement. The king promised Anne that if she remained in England, she would be granted the honor title of the king's sister. Anne would be bestowed with vast amounts of property, such as Henry VII's Richmond Palace at later Hever Castle, which is quite a prestigious property of land. The former childhood, that was also the former childhood of Anne Boleyn, her home. Anne also received an annual income of 15 quid, which was good, very, sorry, not 15, 500, as well as revenue from several estates. She was allowed to keep all her dresses, jewels, and the metal plate. I don't know what a metal plate is.
Wow.
Anne accepted. With Henry's encouragement, she eventually wrote to her family to assure them she was safe and would not returning to Cleves. Finally, Anne returned her wedding ring and asked it to be broken into pieces as a thing which she knew of no force or value.
Hell yeah. I love her.
She was smart.
Yes.
She just went along with Henry, and as you can see, Henry was like, thank you. And so I will say, they had a friendship. She came to the court. all the time. She was seen laughing with him. He would actually go to her and, they actually formed a real friendship. At that court.
Interesting.
And she learned to speak English. Yeah. She was very much a fixture in those courts. And so she was smart and she knew how to keep herself alive.
Right.
And she was very happy being on her own.
Well,
very happy.
Sure.
No, she was asked if she was going to marry again, and
she's like, nope.
Nope. She loved being her own woman, and she took many lovers. She did. It was recorded. She had no problem taking home lovers because she didn't have a marriage. She didn't have children.
Right.
She didn't care.
Yes.
And I also want to put that she, so after Henry dies, Anne's settlement offered a new kind of freedom. She spent time across different properties, enjoying fashion, sports, hunting, and wine. She also learned to dance like the English dance and speak English.
Wow.
Anne stayed on good terms with the king and she became close to his daughters, Mary and Elizabeth. And then in January of 1541, Henry even invited Anne to Hampton Court Palace for Christmas. And that was actually quite often. She spent holidays with them. Anne paid homage to the new Queen Catherine of Howard, her former lady-in-waiting. He loved them lady-in-waitings.
He sure did.
And the two danced together when Henry went to bed.
Oh, wow.
They danced.
Wow.
Yeah, they
That's
danced the
awesome.
night away. There was rumors she wanted to be queen again, but in fact, Anne loved her freedom, and it was just rumors. She very much had Henry's favor. The last place she wanted to be was next to Henry as his queen, as that was dangerous.
Yep.
What happened? Oh, sorry, we already said that. So a little bit other things that happened to after Henry died, right? Because once he died, that her very good friend, and he kept her pretty much safe. So when Mary the throne. Mary the First assumed the throne in 1553. Anne attended her coronation with Princess Elizabeth. Anne's name appears in a few key moments in Mary's reign, making a rare move into politics. She unsuccessfully suggested that the new Queen Mary Ferdinand of Austria, who had a close ties to her family in Cleves. Instead, Mary chose to marry Philip of Spain. This controversial decision helped spark the Wyatt Rebellion, a Catholic plot to depose the Queen and place her half-sister on the throne. As Mary and her advisors worked to uncover plotters, rumors cast suspicions on Anne of Cleves, particularly as a close friend to Elizabeth. Yet there was little evidence against Anne. But I do want to say this: it basically soured Anne to Mary, and she tried her for treason. Anne is the only one who has walked away.
Wow. Free.
She was dismissed. No, nothing. So there again, she survived.
Yep.
Again. So, so then the women did stay outwardly on good terms and continue to live her life in relative peace and privacy. And then, unfortunately, Anne suffered poor health, as was back then, for several years. And finally, on 18 of July, 1557, she died at Chelsea Manor at age 41.
Wow.
Mary first sent her condolences to Anne's family and also ordered memorial service to be held in every church and monastery in Cleves. Back in England, Mary had Anne buried with Catholic rites in great pomp and ceremony. So she did this big ceremony for her near the high altar in Westminster Abbey. This makes Anne the only one of King Henry's wives to lie in the traditional resting place of England's kings and queens.
What?
And that is the story of Anne of Cleves.
Love that. I love her. Also, what is it with him and Anne's and Catherine's?
I don't know, maybe it's some common name back then.
I mean, it had to be.
He's really he likes the ladies in waiting.
And Catherine, and then we got Jane.
Jane came out. Yeah, because the next one's going to be Catherine, and the next one is going to be Catherine.
Oh my, what?
Catherine Howard and Catherine Parr are the next two.
Oh boy.
His last two wives.
That is weird.
But Anne is one of my favorites. I love that she was just a fixture at court. Yes. Everyone loved her, and she actually became King Henry's really good friend.
Yeah.
Which I can account to, if you become friends with a love addict, it's very good. It's really great.
Yes.
You're great. Yep. You just don't become, romantically involved.
Yep.
And I don't think that Anne liked Henry's look.
I don't think she did either. Or his creepiness.
I think she was also smart. I think she was like, I don't know if I should do this. Like, what if I can't have a boy? What if I can't have a son?
Right.
I'm going to be removed next, you know?
Right.
And I think the annulment really saved her.
Absolutely.
You know? But then I thought it was great because she was annulled, she absolutely could have got married again. And she was like, no.
She's like,
I'm good. I'm my own person. I have my freedom.
Yep.
I'm going to live here in all this riches because he gave her a lot.
Hell yeah.
And I'm the king's sister.
You can't get better than that.
Nope. Go on, Anne of Cleves.
Yes.
Go on with yourself.
Then it sucks she died at 41.
I know. That's pretty. I mean, that's kind of old age for back then, honestly. You're not going to go much longer than that. You're probably going to get to like 60 at most.
How old
King
was...
Henry died 45.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
No.
I was going to say.
Yeah, no, because she lived after him. She lived well after his death. He died at 45.
Oh, wow. Wait. She was, how old was she when she married him?
24.
And he was 24 years older than her?
Oh, no, then I guess not 45.
Yeah.
When did he die? Maybe that was one of his wives.
Yeah, because I thought he was older when he died.
I don't think he was too crazy.
Because I remember
old.
him being in his 50s,
you know, his wives
getting
go
married.
so fast.
Yes,
right.
do.
But let me just see when King.
I thought his
Henry,
last wife he got married to in his 50s.
Maybe he did. I know Catherine Parr is his last one. Oh, yeah, 55. You're right. I was 10 years off.
Okay, so still that's very young.
But I do want to show you really quickly. Hold on. Show you her sister too, just because I just loved her picture.
Oh my god,
Yeah.
I love that, guys. Go look up Amelia of Cleves. Oh my god, they're both really pretty.
But that's what her hair was supposed to be like.
Love that.
And I'm like, dude, there's no way you thought she was ugly.
No.
Like, no way.
No,
get out of here with yourself.
He's just trying to find a reason. He got rejected and his ego got shot and he had to come up with the excuse.
This is her with her headdress, her sister, and I just love her smug look on this. Like, how they painted her smug look. I just love it.
Okay, that is a look my sister would do.
That's exactly what I thought when you showed me her picture. I was like, oh my gosh.
Okay, so then that kind of makes me think, because this gives me Asia vibes, and my sister's a Virgo. So she could be a Virgo. I could honestly see both Cancer or Virgo, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, most of it say that she was born in September, but again, it's only
thing that I would think maybe not Cancer is Cancers are very typically, obviously this is just a very broad, overview, typically pretty emotional, and she didn't seem to really be that. She seemed to be
she was not
very stoic.
This is also the picture that Holbein drew.
I mean, it looks kind of like her. But...
It does. It wasn't too bad. I think that, you could see in the other pictures, she liked to wear some makeup.
Yeah.
And I think Holbein makes them strip down to,
just
nothing. But look how tiny her waist is.
Yeah.
You're telling me, and there is definitely a bust there.
Yeah.
Like, what are you having an issue with her body? You didn't.
No,
okay.
he had no issue.
Let's just be real. That's what I'm going to say. Like, be real. You did not have an issue with her body.
Right.
So
just say it. That your ego got shot and you needed to come up with an excuse.
Yep.
Other than saying what it was.
Exactly. But that's Anne of Cleves. So far, she is, Catherine of Aragon was badass herself, but, she had to be queen for 23 years. She had to put up with that. But I just think Anne of Cleves played it right. Anne of Cleves, did everything right. Kept herself alive twice.
Right.
So
Catherine was the longest wife he's had.
Yes. Okay. 23 years.
That is very long for him.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
What are they normally? Like a couple of years? Not even? I know her.
No, usually if you have your queen, she's going to be with you forever. The problem with King Henry is she wasn't producing an heir. And usually you would have your queen forever, and then you would just have a lot of mistresses, especially if that queen produced sons. You're not getting rid of her. He is the start of this weird practice of, okay, well, I'm going to get another one. And because he got away with that,
others did.
He just kept going.
He just did.
He's like, oh, well, I literally broke with the Catholic Church to have Anne Boleyn. And
I don't understand how this man can go through so many women and it's their fault for not producing. there. It couldn't possibly be him.
Oh no, that's what they'd believe back then. It was a woman's fault.
Possibly.
They would look at their hips and be like, will that produce a boy?
What does that even have anything to
They
do
could
with
look
it?
at my hips all day long. And if I was back then, they'd be like, yeah.
Like,
And then I
yep.
would die.
Yeah.
Because I couldn't still fit through my pelvic bone. So they would have been like, yeah, her hips will do it. And they'll be like, she's dead.
God. Oh,
Yeah.
I'm very glad I wasn't born then.
Me too.
That'd just not be a fun time.
I have this thing where if there was time travel, I would like to just go back and see it for a minute.
Yeah.
Where I could easily get into my thing and get back out of there.
To be like a fly on the wall.
A fly on the wall
would be great.
Maybe just like, but not even, I don't want to be a fly on the tutor.
No.
No, I'm not even fly. I don't want to be a lady in the tutor court, like trying to look at things. Cause I just feel like I always get pinpointed out. So I just,
Yeah. I would just want to look from a distance.
You would be the one facing the wall.
That would be me. Like, who is this woman? I'd be like, you don't see me.
Don't talk to me.
I am not here. What woman?
All right, everybody. So that is Anne of Cleves. Next one will be Catherine Howard.
I am
a little
so
bit about
excited.
Catherine Howard. Back then, she was considered a hussy.
Ooh, I'm excited for another one because that's what Anne Boleyn was too, right?
Anne Boleyn
Well,
was
she was more a tease.
She was a tease.
Yeah,
This
she was-
one, not a tease.
Oh boy, I'm excited.
Not a tease at all.
Well, I'm thinking for the next episode.
Yes.
What do you think of Madeline Soda?
Yeah.
I'll cover that one.
Absolutely.
And then we can do Catherine of Howard.
Yep.
For the next one.
Sounds perfect.
Okay. All right, everybody. Well, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. And we will see you in the next one. Bye.
Bye.